Hello there. I was lucky enough to receive some free samples from Hahnemuehle UK recently because the order I had put in for some of their new agave paper had been delayed because of low stock levels. And I thought, because it was so kind of them, I would do some little reviews of their papers. This particular set is the Academy watercolour called Britania. It's 300 grams per square metre, so good and sturdy in weight, and it comes with 3 different surfaces. We have the rough, which has got a very distinctive texture. I shall show you that properly in a moment. Cold pressed, which has got a nice medium texture, and then the very smooth hot pressed. The cold pressed is actually let me see if I can zoom right in on that and show you. There, you can see, if I move it in the light, that it's almost like woven, the woven fabric that it may well have been pressed against when in production. You can see I've done my preparatory drawing on this one already. This is the cold pressed, so it's got a little bit of texture. Again, good and sturdy, and then the very, very smooth hot pressed. Each sample comes with all the information on it. I guess it would be convenient to keep as a piece with tests on in whichever way you wanted to do it. And on the back of each piece, you also get information about the actual paper itself and what formats and sizes it comes in, whether it's blocks, whether it's sheets, whether it's rolls, and how many pages, etc. are available. All useful stuff to keep in your records. I'm going to do a time lapse of this toadstool, which is a wood bluet, the Pista nuda, apparently. And I'm going to paint a different toadstool on each of the others, but you're going to watch the time lapse of this one today, and we'll see how it performs. I'm going to be using washes, wet on wet. I'm going to be using granulating paints to see how they sit with this paper. I'm also going to be using wet on to dry, building up glazes to form structure and shape. So I'm going to be quiet now, and you can watch me painting. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you get the full effect of the paper and paint. Paper's not buckling too much. I've purposefully not taped this one down because I wanted to see how it handled the paper and how flat it dried on its own without being stretched. Right, so that's my background done. So quick pause, and I'll be back in a moment. That little squeak was Knackle, our adopted cat, who has discovered that if she squeaks at us, she gets attention. But we haven't quite sussed out what her squeaks actually mean. Sometimes it means I want to play, and sometimes it means I want to go out, or where's the nosh? So we're still learning about each other. So there you have it, and this is the end of my little review of the Hahnemuehle Britania paper. It's been really interesting, and I've found out, to my surprise, that I actually really like the paper. I'm a big advocate of 100% pure cotton paper because of its unique properties, and this paper is actually student grade, so it's made from cellulose, but it performed particularly well, so much so that I've actually invested in a little bit more already, and I would like to show you my final pieces. I decided to do 3 paintings of similar things, toadstools being a perennial favourite. The first one, which is the one you've just seen the time lapse of, is this one, which is a wood bluet. The This painting is on the cold pressed paper, so it has a little bit of surface texture. It handled the paint and water really well. I didn't tape it down on purpose because I wanted to push it, see how far it would go. And as you can see, it stayed reasonably flat, even though I put many washes and a lot of water on it. The pigment flowed nicely and kept its colour really well while when it dried. So I was very happy with this particular paper. The next one I did was on the hot pressed paper. This is a panther cap, and I used masking fluid for the spots. No problems at all with damaging the surface of the paper. It came off beautifully once I'd finished painting. I did have a little bit of an issue with my masking tape around the edge, as it was just starting to lift the very surface of the paper off, but I warmed it up with a hairdryer and came off no problem after that. Again, the paper performed really, really well. It's got a lovely smooth surface, and the granulating pigments that I used in the paint really moved beautifully and settled out, as you can see, with this wonderfully speckly, delicate effect. Very happy with this paper again, and would recommend it. The last one, which is Amanita frostiana, a young one. This is the rough paper, which has the very particular, almost fabric-like texture to it. It's almost like canvas. It's a very different beast. I wasn't sure whether I was actually going to be able to paint a similar detailed subject on this one, but it came out okay. But I think it would be much, much more suited to something more spontaneous and expressive. Maybe abstracts or abstract landscapes would work really, really well on this paper. It did cause interesting effects with the pigment settling out into the texture, and again, it handled lots and lots of water, no buckling issues or anything like that. I'm not sure it would be to everyone's taste because of the very, very particular texture, but it was really interesting to use anyway. So there you have it, my 3 toadstool paintings on the Hahnemuehle Britania paper, and I would recommend it.